You're watching Breakfast from BBC News. It's 23 minutes past 8. Time for a look at the newspapers.
Justin Cohen, the news editor of the Jewish News, is here to tell us what's caught his eye. Good morning.
Good morning.
We'll whiz through the front pages first, keep everyone up to date. Front page of the Sunday Times this morning. Of course, the winners of Strictly on there. The main story is that David Cameron, something we're covering here, is to give armed police officers who shoot to kill greater protection from prosecution.
The Observer saying living wage will lead to new boom in migrants. Of course, the Prime Minister trying to limit the benefits that they can claim, in and out of work benefits for 4 years. But Eurosceptics saying the national living wage will be a huge draw.
On the front page of the Sunday Telegraph, it's saying that there are some radical plans that have been set out today, and it means that women will be allowed to take part in frontline combat within months in an overhaul of the Army's rules.
The Independent looks at homeschooling. The Department for Education doesn't have reliable figures on how many people are homeschooled, but there are fears that perhaps it's not good for children.
The Sunday Express's splash, it calls it a world exclusive. Princess Charlotte is to spend her first Christmas with the Queen and the rest of the royal family after her parents decided to give their staff a festive break. So a family get-together for the royals.
So Justin is with us. We've just seen on some of those front pages the picture of Jimmy Hill, man who I grew up with, watching Match of the Day.
Lots of us did, didn't we?
Some great tributes this morning.
Yeah, I was actually surprised that this story didn't feature on more of the front pages. But as you say, many people, including myself, grew up with Jimmy Hill on Match of the Day. He was very much a fixture of that chin was very much a fixture of Saturday evenings. But I think something I didn't know was just how extraordinary his impact was on all parts of the English game. You know, introducing the three-point rule, fighting the minimum wage and so on. And I think his death has shone a real light on that. And if something good can come out of his death, then it's certainly been that. It just made me think about Sports Personality of the Year tonight and the fury around Tyson Fury and the idea about whether the award is to acknowledge sporting achievement or whether it's about personality. And I think Jimmy Hill, as we saw in a lot of the TV pictures last night, had both of those in bounds. And I think he was, you know, such a wholesome character and perhaps from a bygone era.
Let's talk about the story you've picked out in the Sunday Express. A mosque where the shoe bomber Richard Reed and the 9/11 terrorist Zacharias Moussaoui both attended, and this in Brixton in London. Yeah,
Brixton Mosque. I think that Muslim communities often get a hard rap about lack of action to tackle extremism in its midst, but I think this is a real example of action by the Muslim community from within. The Imam here is talking about how action is being taken. For example, they making it very clear that anyone that poisoned mines will be reported to the police. They even have a series of books that they made available to tackle, you know, to fight against particular preachings of individuals that have been known to poison mines. So I think this is a real example for other mosques and other communities.
Good positive message.
Jeremy Corbyn has given an interview to the Times, the Sunday Times this morning, saying, let me get on with the job.
Yeah, Jeremy Corbyn saying, I'll still be leader in 2020 at least. I think it's extraordinary that so early on in his leadership that we require a headline like this. I think it must be unprecedented. The fact that it actually makes the headline in a Sunday Times interview all the more so. But it just makes you think. I think actually Jeremy Corbyn is probably in, you know, one of the safest positions that a party leader could be because of the change in the leadership election. If he was ousted in some way, he would get back onto the ballot paper almost certainly and would be re-elected by the membership. He also talks in the interview about Ed Miliband and wanting him to kind of be at the forefront again. It's interesting that Ed Miliband was the person that changed those party rules, so I wonder if that's some kind of payback for him.
We've been talking this morning, a very touching story. We were speaking to the mother of a child who died when a lorry driver was texting and he ran her daughter over and she died. This was in 2011. And a lot of talk about how we should be using our mobile phones, how dependent we are on our mobile phones. And this is now taking a look at positively using mobile phones.
Yeah. The Metropolitan Police Commissioner, Sir Bernard Hogan-Howe, is saying that people should record racist crimes and other crimes as much as possible on their phones if they're too frightened to actually intervene, if it's not possible to intervene. And he encourages people also to post them on social media, and it helps to gain momentum and perhaps draw attention to that crime. He's actually come under fire for those comments, and I was quite surprised by that, by Big Brother Watch, for example, that says that the idea of encouraging people to post this on social media is not a positive thing and shouldn't really be encouraged, although the idea of actually recording itself is a good idea.
The idea perhaps being report it to the police, show the footage to the police rather than vigilantism.
But I don't think it does encourage vigilantism, though. I think that any way that you can record these attacks or these incidents and get further publicity for them have to be a good thing. I know from reporting at the Jewish News, a number of anti-Semitic crimes have been recorded on buses and other vehicles on CCTV, and this is another way of furthering that.
And just a quick one to finish, a great story about what will be at #1 this Christmas.
Yes, apparently it's not going to be Justin Bieber. He's the other rival, but Lewisham and Greenwich NHS Trust have recorded a charity single. And I think it's just wonderful news on the eve of Christmas that many of the NHS staff who have taken part in this will be working over Christmas while we, including myself as a Jewish person, will be eating turkey. And they'll be giving their time to help sick people across the country. And this is a great festive story.
A medley of Simon Garfunkel's Bridge Over Troubled Water and Coldplay's Fix You.
Yep.
Very good.
Great tune. Well, enjoy your turkey. Enjoy your Christmas, Justin. Many thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
We're going to be back with a summary of the morning's main news in just a moment. See you then.